Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Keeping Up with the Taylorians. My name is Lynn and I will be your moderator for today. I am currently studying bachelor's in biotechnology and I am representing Taylor's University Student Council alongside with another moderator of ours.
Hi everyone, my name is Stephanie and I am the student from Taylor's Law School. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, so for today's episode, we are going to talk about Korean Wave. We are so happy to get to invite two amazing speakers from K Generation Club. Perhaps you guys would want to introduce yourselves starting from Mel.
Okay. Hi, my name is Melissa, but you can call me Mel. I am the president of K Generation. I'm taking creative media design school. And yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Hey guys, my name is Sheryl and I'm the PR director of K Generation, and I'm currently in Bachelor in Mass Communication, PR and Events Management. And so nice to be here. Thank you for inviting us.
Since you guys are from K Generation Club, so I guess you guys are very good in Korean. Is it? Can you guys introduce yourself in Korean, maybe?
Sheryl, you start first.
Introduce myself in Korean.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. 안녕하세요. 저 이름은 셰럴입니다. 네, 감사합니다.
네.
감사합니다. 반갑습니다.
네, 오케이. 안녕하세요. 제 이름은 멜리사예요. 저는 테일러스 대 학생이에요. 만나서 반갑습니다. 네.
잘 부탁드립니다.
I don't understand.
I think this is time to teach Lynn how to speak Korean because I know. So I think you guys are more know how to teach people. So maybe there's time to teach Lynn how to introduce herself in Korean.
Yeah, teach me guys. Gonna be trilingual.
Trilingual.
What do you want to learn?
I think we can do like basic, like, hi, my name is Lynn and I'm from Taylor's.
Hi is 안녕하세요 in a formal way, and then my name is 제 이름은. So 안녕하세요. Yeah, 안녕하세요. 제 이름은 린입니다.
안녕하세요. 제 이름은 린입니다.
네.
Yeah, it's the formal way.
Okay.
And then you can say 저는 테일러스 대 학생이에요. 대 is uni, 학생 is student. So uni student.
Wait again. 저는 Taylor's
대 학생.
대학생.
대학생이에요.
대학생이에요.
네.
I'm going to butcher this.
I think Lynn pronunciation is quite good also.
Yeah.
I already forgot the first sentence. 안녕하세요.
I
이름은
was going to
린입니다.
ask you, can you say everything? I was like, can you
Okay,
say
I'll try.
everything?
I'll try. 안녕하세요. 이름은
저 이름은
제 이름은 린입니다. 저는 Taylor's
대학생.
대학생이에요.
이에요.
대학생이에요.
네.
박수!
박수
Yay,
is clap.
B+. Oh, okay, clap.
I give you a 박수 for yourself.
박수.
Okay, so before we actually move forward to our first topic, so maybe K Generation Club can actually introduce yourself to the audience and what you guys do in your all social activity.
Okay, so firstly, we are K Generation. So as the name says, we are a K-pop and Korean culture club under Taylor's University Lakeside campus. So for our signature events, we usually have Hallyu Festival and K-Motion. For Hallyu Festival is a festival on the daytime where we invite booths like fan clubs booth or K-beauty booths or K-fashion booths to come over to Taylor's and have a small festival, and then everyone can share their interests together. And 𝐃-𝐫𝐸tion is the event on the same day, but at the night is a K-pop dance competition where everyone from the public can join. And other than that, before the pandemic or pre-pandemic, we usually have monthly meetings, dance classes and Korean classes. We still have our monthly meetings now on virtually, but we are waiting for a chance or a time to reopen our dance class and Korean class. Yes, that's all for our club.
Do you guys teach people dancing online?
We have our performance director.
So like if enough demand and a lot of people want to join the class, we're happy to just open a class to teach people how to dance.
Do you guys want to introduce some like traditionals of your clubs, or do you guys have any?
Yeah, so this is an iconic game for us because we've been playing it for a while now. So it's called Unpopular Opinions. So we gather unpopular opinions from people or like on the internet, and we discuss about those people's opinion and basically get to know everybody's perspective on the topics. So it's also a good icebreaker and also like all general game. So we prepared some of people's opinions, and so we can ask you guys about it. I mean, it's just basic ones. The first one is, I wonder if idols ever thought or open up about people in their own fandom disrespecting other idols the same way they get disrespected from other fandoms. So basically is we got group A, and the fandom of group A is attacking and like disrespecting group B. Okay, but group B and A are like friends or like just good acquaintances in general, you know. So what's you got like Stephanie's and Lynn's opinion on that, and Sheryl also lah.
I feel like they ever thought of opening up is them wanting to open up, but sometimes, you know, because of the company, they don't allow them to talk about it. But I'm pretty sure if I am that person in that whole situation, of course I would want to talk about, because like it doesn't really make sense if like my fans are fighting each other. My fans are indirectly hating on my friends. So like that's a very important topic to be talk about. But then I'm pretty sure there are some rules that they are not allowed to talk about.
Yeah, I agree. I think most of the groups in K-pop, like they are controlled very strictly by their companies. And while I understand that in the K-pop culture that it is normal since concept and their images have to be maintained, but I still think that maybe they could have released a statement, something, you know. Yeah.
To have a more peaceful fandom.
Yes, because I was using like Twitters all the times, and I always see people quarreling, you know, like having fan war on Twitter. Then I feel like it's very awkward for the idols. If I imagine like if I was banned, then I need to consider like when I meet my friends, but my fans are actually quarreling with their fans, but I will feel very awkward. So I really hope like people won't do fan war, like silly fan war, which is very, very stupid.
Yeah. Exactly.
So right now we're like calm, right?
Yeah.
But physically, when we do meetings, we start screaming at each other. Yeah, and then usually we do meetings at X Space at level 4, like Block D. It's a small classroom, right? With like, but imagine like 25
like
people, like 20 to 25 people just like screaming at each other. Usually screaming because we agree with each other, just hyping together. But sometimes like we do go opposite like opinions, so we just like we have physical moderator just like calm down.
Yeah, and he was like, this is a very small problem. You guys shouldn't be shouting on each other.
Right, so we're like, okay, next topic, chill.
Yeah. And then next topic, they fight again.
Right.
Yeah. They never
I am guilty of
school in one topic.
Okay, so now we are done with our ice-breaking session. We're going to move our next session, which is Korean Wave. So the Korean Wave, aka Hallyu, is referring to the South Korea's cultural economy, like the pop culture, entertainment, music, TV dramas, etc. that are obviously dominating the world by storm, as we all notice. So Hallyu Wave has been growing since the 90s. That at this point, it's just which part of the wave that touches you. Like I know some people who became interested because of Korean zombie movies, thriller movies, like Parasite. I like that one. So it's not just K-pop and K-beauty. Yeah. To me, I think it depends on where you live. Like in Southeast Asia, K-dramas in the early 2000s were mostly responsible for Hallyu, while in the West, I think the K-dramas and K-pop introduced people to K-beauty because the idols have really nice skin.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, so I'm curious, Mel, how did you get into Korean Wave and what is your story?
Okay, so I started liking like the whole Korean and K-pop thing in 2009. I was 9. I was a kid. Now I'm 21. so I've been here for a while. So I started. There's this song by Big Bang and 2NE1. It's called Lollipop. It was actually a song for an ad, for like the LG ad, I think. It was like it's for a phone. And so I found them through there, and then it just started with like sorry. And then 2009 was like the height of like a G, and then it's like sorry, and then like the next year was like oh, and all of like the golden age of K-pop. Right? Yeah. So but recently I started liking 𝐊-𝐏𝐸. They are a group from 1997. They debuted 1997. So from there, I learned more like how it was like K-pop is back in the day before our time, you know. So that's like an interesting thing that I found out in the recent years of like liking K-pop. So yeah.
Okay, Sheryl?
Actually started K-pop pretty late because I mean it's not that I officially started K-pop back in 2015 when I was 13 years old. But then the first K-pop song that I heard was Nobody by Wonder Girls, and then Fantastic Baby and Gangnam Style. I listened to those songs, but then I wasn't too into K-pop back then. I don't really know about K-pop. And then only until 2015 where I started middle school, and then my friends told me she really liked EXO. And then for a time, I got the chance to follow my mom to go to Korea without having the knowledge of K-pop and Korean Wave. I don't know anything. I just went to Korea. And then I came back and then started to like K-pop. And first is EXO, for sure. At that time, it's for sure EXO. And then until now, it's been a good few years. And I've been constantly liking a lot of groups. So I would consider myself as more on multi-fandom than I dedicate my heart to one. It's not that I'm not loyal, okay, guys? It's just that, you started liking more people. Because you have this pure kind heart. You just started to like more people. And the most recent group that I like is X1, but then because X1 disbanded, so I started like watching the individual members groups. So there's like KUWT, there's like Victor, there's like VI, there's like what else? I am not really sure, but there's more subgroups coming out from X1, and that one long-term fan that one long-term K-pop group that has been on my top list will for sure be BTS or 101. These are the big ones that I usually and normally watch, and yeah, that's for me. And I'm pretty sure I'm the least K-pop. I mean, the time is the shortest as a K-pop fan. I'm not sure, but I mean, I'm not sure about Stephanie. So yeah, I only have like 5 to 6 years of experience of being a K-pop fan.
So basically, what Sheryl was trying to say is loyalty doesn't exist in Korean fandom. Got it?
The concept.
Yes, it's not that I'm not loyal, okay? I still like EXO. It's just that, there are more people. Why not you just go look at other people more?
That's more time, right?
This I will sound more not loyal, so I'm just going to stop this.
That's what people say. Why have one boyfriend when you have 1,000? Right?
Exactly.
When you have 1,000 K-pop boys.
but it applies to same with me. But back then I know K-Wave because of K-drama, especially all those like very very popular K-drama. For example, what's that called? Like,
Voice over Flower.
Yeah. Before that, that one is my second K-drama, but I can't recall what's the name. But it's about the palace one.
Oh, it's not okay.
Okay, but then it's a very very all of them are very like legendary, and like for now when I rewatch it, I still think it is legendary. And then I start to know about K-pop starting from sorry like from Super Junior. Then I think that one everyone know about it. Yeah, and also like Girl Generation is my first girls group that I like, and then 2NE1. And I confirm I'm not the loyal one because I have been loving so many groups.
Been going around the K-pop world,
Yes.
Going around.
I know so many idols as much as I can, but for recently, like I feel like more idols could come out. I can't remember so much already.
I can't remember. I remember their names.
Yes,
they are similar names. So like, even though I study Korean, even though I can read Korean, even though whatever that relates to Korean, I can't remember the names and the faces.
But I'm quite good at, but it just they have too much the same name, Like,
yeah, it's like,
true.
Like,
there's so many Jimins.
Jimin,
right.
like got girls, got boys, and like
so you
from
say like
BTS,
AOA Jimin, BTS Jimin, wish Jimin.
Yeah, and also like all the new girl groups and boys groups also got Jimin, and then it just the surname are different.
Right.
No, there's a few Park Jimin.
Oh yeah, even
there's also a comedian, Jimin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh
The
my
female
god,
one.
so
Like,
many. Yeah, so I think I think that's what shows like K-Wave, the K-pop has been growing so much and having so many people loving this Korea and also join and start training, dancing, singing, and also like performing before the audience. I think it's quite cool because I think their dreams are very quite big, and I really respect how can they pass those like very difficult times during their training time, and then like finally comes to us on the camera on the stage. Yeah, that one is really that's
true.
There's just us looking up on them on like how they went through the whole training period, because if we go there as a normal person as I am, imagine if I'm in Produce 101, I will cry my head off. I know they cried too, but they went on. I think if it's for me,
Give up already.
hard to say honestly. It's very hard to say.
Give up already.
No, because if you are there, you have the motivation to go. I've never experienced being in there, so I cannot really say anything, but it's definitely tough.
Yeah.
I think for the go ahead.
How they decide it to do so is also take a lot of courage to make a decision for us. especially those foreigners, like like Chinese or Japanese, go to Korea like alone when he or she is very very young, and then like 13 or 12 years old, they go to Korea and don't know any like Korean words, and then start training. And that one is really, I really think they are so brave for their dream.
And one thing, it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. That's the thing where it breaks everyone's heart the most. It's not guaranteed, and like even if you debut third, it's not guaranteed either.
You don't know will you famous or not. Will be earning money.
Exactly.
I mean, there's been a lot of like shows that made groups, and those groups aren't popular, and then I definitely stand during my multi-fandom days of like standing like groups that weren't successful enough to continue and eventually disband. So I think those disbandments are sadder than like popular groups disbanding, honestly. So
because they just come and go like a straight line, They started and ended in a straight line. It's like nothing special happened. It feels like that. So it's a very sad thing.
But I guess like I hope they just know that like they did do something to like the fans that they actually had, even though like they didn't have an impact to the whole society. At least if they did something to one person, I guess it's fine.
And when the fans actually appreciated it, that's all it matters. And I don't think we should go deeper.
Okay. I think that's what like where we know about K-Wave, and I wonder how it influenced you guys and like your friends, and nowadays when we walk in the shop, but even if it's now MCO, but you can know like when the shop are open, they playing all the K-pop song, and during without MCO, they even have some random dance cover on the stage on the street itself. And also like nowadays when you use Twitter and YouTube, they always trending the K-pop hashtag and also like K-pop content. So how do you think K-Wave actually influenced you? So maybe we'll start from Sheryl.
How K-Wave influenced me? Okay, because firstly I want to say we are all very young here, and like it's in our teenage years where we start to get mature, and like we start to want to have control in ourselves and anything about all of those puberty things. So like I think K-Wave is with you ever since you started your puberty times, and it's always there. So it influences you the most. And how K-Wave influenced me, I think is pretty huge, is because firstly, it influenced me how to dress myself. If not for Korea, if not about K-pop, right, I wouldn't know about fashion and K-beauty and all this stuff. And because of K-pop too, I started K-pop dance. I started K-pop dance. I started learning K-pop dance, and eventually it leads me to having interest in dancing, and that's my one and only hobby in my teenage years. So when I look back now, I started dancing in the age of 14, and I started it because of K-pop. And then when you are dancing to a K-pop song, you feel different because that's a song that you like, that you actually enjoy. So it actually has a very big influence on our mental health too, I would say. And then other than dancing, I started learning Korean also, and like I learn about other cultures. It brings me knowledge too, in some way. It brings me knowledge. Maybe it brings me knowledge about only Korea, but at least it's knowledge from other countries. If you don't look at other things, you are not absorbing anything. So I think in some way, K-Wave actually influenced us to absorb more and know more about the public and anything that is happening, because they are the trending nowadays. So in some way, it is helping us in a good way. But also on the other side, we shouldn't be obsessed, because if you're obsessed with K-pop, it actually brings you another outcome where the parents would consider more than us. So yeah, you need to have a good control and balance in between all your K-pop stuff and your studying stuff. And when you come to uni, in some way, I'm not saying that for sure, you can bring K-pop into your studies, okay? Yeah, you can write about K-pop, you can write about BTS, and that's something good about this. Yeah.
I had like friends that did like their research methodologies dissertation about K-pop.
Yeah, I did too. I think I did one. I forgot, but yeah. So there's good and bad stuff for sure, and it influences you because it's been there with you for the longest time ever.
How about you, Mel? I heard you are taking Korean minor these days.
Yeah, so if I think a lot of people don't know that you can actually take Korean, the language, as a minor in Taylor's for degree students. So I've been taking Korean as a minor. Right now I'm at Korean 2. It's until Korean 4. I have like a problem of reading. I read really slow. Just in general, like in English or in Malay, I just read really slow. So reading in Korean does not help also. It does not help. But sometimes like in English I get really like stressed because I can't read as fast as I want to. And I want to learn another language. I want to like be trilingual also, you know. So I always wanted to like learn Korean. So taking a minor actually like pushed me to actually learn it formally. So like even when like I don't do as good as I want to, I know I'm learning, even though I'm slow. I know I'm learning and I appreciate why I'm learning it right now. So I guess it's a boost. And you can watch K-dramas without subs.
Yes,
you can watch all of the V-Lives. You can watch all of the V-Lives without subs.
Yes, that's the best thing ever because you don't have to wait for them like guessing what are they talking about. You literally understand what they're talking about.
Right, and also it improves what you're studying.
Yes,
it's like win-win.
Mommy, I'm improving my Korean.
Right.
Just like you stop.
Right. Next time you guys go to Korea travel, no need a guide. Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm planning to take topic, the test of proficiency in Korean, TOPIK.
But then the certificate only
got 1 and 2.
I mean no, the certificate only lasts for like 1.5 years or 2 years.
I think so, but like I it's a dream. It's even a miracle if I finish this, but I guess it's just a dream.
Yeah, you can do it.
Yeah. Shout out to Miss Anna. Anna's name.
May I ask how many levels they have, or like how many levels you are for now?
There's 8 levels, right?
No, 6. In like topic there's 6.
Oh, 6, yeah.
So like there's 2 exams, topic 1 and topic 2. One is 1 to 4, and topic 2 is 5 to 6. So if you're at level 5 and 6, you're like professional, like you're there, you know.
Native.
Yeah, I'm at level 1, honestly. I'm at level 1.
I don't know I forgot which level am I on. My teacher told me, but I forgot because as what Mel just explained, the topic is quite confusing. But then I remember him saying that after this year or like after this particular chapter, we are going into exam syllabus, I think. I don't know. I really don't know. To be honest, I don't know. And I'm just waiting for the time where he said, okay, you can go take topic, and then I will go take topic. But until now, I'm still not really sure about which level am I on. But I guess 4, 5.
How are the exams like?
3 years already.
What are the exams like?
Yeah.
The real topic I don't know. how does it look like?
I have the sample, but I haven't opened the file yet.
I'm scared to know.
Yeah.
Let me just like build up.
Be intimidated, you know.
Right.
Well, imagine if they ask you to translate a whole essay.
I think so. They do. I mean, it's more to like, do you understand it? Can you write it? Like listening and speaking. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually like, because I didn't join any institution to learn, but I have tried, like they have the past year papers over there in the website. I actually download it and actually try it, and that was like level 3 or 4, that kind of level. But I noticed that they are somehow like IELTS also lah. So basically they will give you a paragraph and then you need to answer, like find answers in the paragraph, and also like listening and then choose the answer that they are talking about. So I think that's very similar to the others like English language test lah.
Yeah. But
To
it's
me,
just in Korean.
to me, like listening and speaking is like the hardest, especially listening. I don't know why I can't listen. It doesn't make sense. They
Just
speak
speak
too
really
fast.
fast.
Right. They speak
When I
too
read,
fast.
I sound like a, I don't know, I read very slow. Just like you, I read very slow. And I'm not fluent in reading one. Every time I read, I have to repeat myself.
I have to like, I have to like sound like a cartoon when like reading to make sense. So it's like slow down.
And then my son Seng will scold me because he said you cannot read like you are reading. You have to read like you're actually speaking. Cannot read like you're reading.
Yeah. Same.
Like
My
you
son's
see
name always not true.
the words then then one like
like when it's a question, like question mark, you go up.
Yes, yo.
Right.
Yeah,
Like you
yo.
have to
You're
read
like
it like
yo. Like there's a lot more detail in the language.
We can do like a whole episode of just struggles of learning Korean.
Yes.
The time.
The efficiency, the commitment.
The commitment.
Yeah.
Then how about Lynn? Because I think because they are actually in the K generation club, they are very immersed already. So I want to ask from like Lynn perspective, because what I know from Lynn is she knows but not really familiar. So I want to know your perspective, how you think about K-Wave and how you think influence the people like Malaysian, most of the Malaysian or all around the world.
Okay, so for me, I am actually a newbie to the whole Korean wave. I can't say it influenced me a lot, but it definitely changed how I see the entertainment industry, rather than my beauty standards. Like I know that I understand the beauty standards of K-pop better, but still manage to separate them from my own personal preference. Does that make sense? So like I have learned to separate my appreciation for K-pop beauty standards from the ones I apply to someone I'm interested in. So like I can appreciate an idol if they are good looking, but I won't expect my significant other to look like that person too, which I think is really important, because definitely K-pop, K-drama, they raise the bar really high for relationships.
Separating fantasy and reality, essentially.
Yeah, they're well packaged. They have all the nice things around them.
We can't afford to have those things.
Yeah, so maybe just try and not to let the cute loving scenes in K-drama affect the way you think how romance work in the real world, because then you would realize that it's completely different than in the dramas.
Yeah, but we can't deny that cute scenes are cute, very cute.
Again, because they are fantasy, because they are fantasies that we want.
Yes,
They are made
for
out. They are
entertainment.
written out, okay? They are made out.
Yes. Next warning, we still have to go back to our normal lives.
Yeah.
They are just entertainment for you to healing your life, healing your life when you are busy in your real life, So they are just, whatever like drama, entertainment.
So hard to not get influenced by this.
Yeah, true. Like,
I mean, more or less we'll get influenced by it, but you just need to know how to come back to the reality. And having your standards high up is not something. It's very important. In fact, it's not something to be avoid. I mean, it's not something for you to avoid. Actually, like raising your standards is in fact something we can do and we should do, because only then you like see more people or meet more people. Just come back to the reality and don't expect every guy out there looks like whichever K-pop stars that you like. You can't expect that, right? Imagine yourself getting expected by a guy to look like a Korean female or a Korean female idol. That wouldn't be a good experience and a good feeling at all, right? So I think the balance in fantasy and reality should be balanced out. And yes, you have to come back to the reality, because reality is reality. You can't really change that,
Yeah. Thank you, Sheryl, for the insightful, like calling people not to obsess with the K-pop too much, and also like you need to care about your real life, your work, your studies, and also I think it's good to having something to heal you besides from your busy real life lah. Okay, because now I think we can starting to read some comments and some questions giving up from the Taylorians, which we have posted a story asking people for their opinions and also like asking their questions in our Insta story. So let's Lynn to read out the comments and we will take turn to respond it one by one.
So I'll start by the first question. What do you guys think about Mamamoo? They don't have any genre like other girl groups, and I love their music videos. It looks so different from the rest and unique.
For sure, in the K-pop industry, they do have, or should I say, they do invest a big amount of money and resource into making their music video a little bit more unique and different from the other genres. And for sure, we can see that K-pop has their way in music video, and it's always so innovative, so creative, and so different from the others. Even though it's a very simple background or a very simple music video, but then you see the props that are different and unique. So especially for Mamamoo, their songs are so different from all other girl groups, I would say, because they just have this different vibe as a girl group, and it's a very cool genre and vibe that I personally really like. So I think they are going the direction they're going is definitely very innovative, and I look forward for their comebacks and new music videos. For sure.
Okay, thank you, Sheryl. The next question. What do you guys think about the BTS hype fan base?
In my opinion, I will interpret this question as like if armies are like too big, or like is the hype worth it? I mean, armies are big for a reason, because BTS is big. Like, they deserve the amount of fans that they have. This is coming from somebody that's not an army. Like, they deserve it, but a big chunk of the fans worship them a bit too much until it gets a bit toxic, which is like it gives like the fan name a bad rap, even though they are actually like doing a lot of good in general. So yeah, that's my opinion. I won't say too much.
Yeah, I mean, it's normal. Yeah. There's always a portion that go far and beyond.
Yes, but because they are a bigger fandom, so those people are more
More people, more opinions.
Yeah.
If there are 10 fans, one is guaranteed to have unacceptable behavior. If you have 20 million fans,
yes, the saturation is just a bit much.
But one thing, BTS is big for a reason, and they work hard for it. It's not like whatever.
Yeah,
happens.
they work for it.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, they're like too overhyped. Not really.
Next question. What do you guys think about Irene from Red Velvet and Jimin from AOA Bully Case?
Okay, in my opinion, as a fan and a human being, I am not gonna comment on what they did, what they allegedly did, but I guess people are like, as a fan, you can be upset about what happened because you look up to these people. You've been liking them for like a long time, for years, and then the moment they do something wrong, something bad, you feel a bit sad. You feel sad, you feel heartbroken about it. So I guess in a fan's perspective, it's just more sad than angry, if that's in my opinion.
I think I have a small note. I think from my perspective, I agree with what Mel says. It's more of sadness and also maybe a little bit of disappointment if he or she is someone that you really look up to, because when it's about bullying or not respecting each other, it's not about whatever stereotype, not whatever culture should practice. It's literally basic manners. So I think that's the thing where it touches the fans the most, because sometimes basic manners are considered as common sense. So, and then some of them did not practice it nicely, I would say, and it will lead to a lot of disappointment from the fans. So in my perspective, I think I will get disappointed by someone who I've been looking up to for so many years, or like such a long time. And disappointment is something that kind of drags you back from continue to support them in the future. That's what I see and feel.
So I just want to add, for example, when you go into K-pop, when you become a fan, it's a hobby, it's something that you like. So it's a coping mechanism for you to run away from something. So for example, if a person, if this person gets bullied always, constantly, so maybe she or he goes home and then start to watch dramas, watch variety shows of them, of that person that they like, and then to find out that their coping mechanism is also their source of stress is heartbreaking for those people and very sad.
Eventually, a lot of people say that K-pop brings happiness to life. K-pop is an influence. So I think that plays a really big part in people's heart. So whenever this kind of thing happens, people they get disappointed and very sad.
That's why the concept of putting because separating fantasy and reality is
important.
It applies to every section, not just I like this person and then you shouldn't expect your boyfriend to look like this, and then you should also think about humans also make mistakes. They are also human.
This small thing I want to talk about. It's not necessarily about bully, but we can't always think that the K-pop idol or that specific person or that particular person is someone like that only by watching content about that person online. You are literally watching content or sites of them where they want to show to the camera, where they want to show to you. It's always a good side. Who wants to show their bad sides to the camera, right? So it's literally a few % of their life. So you can't actually say that, this person is a bad person, this person is not responsible, this person is not what. So I don't think it's appropriate to give comments on people when you are only viewing the sites where they want to show you. This applies to every aspect.
Right, because idols, this is their jobs. They also have their personal life.
Yeah.
Like when we go to school, we are different people when we go home also.
Yeah.
Same goes to them. So
Yes. Someone is very shy at school and like they can go home and scold their sisters, bully their sisters.
is that you?
Is that you?
My sister.
Yeah, but I really agree.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't ask the idols to like to live 24 hours every day in their life to have someone to look into you. It was very, very scary. Yeah, so I hope people will give more privacy to the idols and all the actors, all the celebrities, because they deserve it, their privacy, because I think nowadays the stalkers problems are getting serious, and I really don't like it. Yeah.
Yeah, and from what Sheryl mentioned just now, right? I think we as fans just don't get too emotionally attached to the idols. Like we shouldn't see them as friends or like people who can do no harm.
Yeah.
Like sure, like a group, like their music, like their members, but when you get to a point where you feel like you know the idols personally or feel like emotionally connected to them, I think it's time to take a step back and remember at the end of the day, it's just music. They are just idols doing their work.
Someone you see on screen, you don't actually know that person. You have to keep that reality borderline in your life to prevent you from, falling deeper, and it hurts yourself at the end of the day. So it's important, important note.
Wow, so after having an insightful discussion on Korean Wave, we have come to an end for this episode of Keeping Up with the Taylorians podcast.
Before wrapping up, we would like to invite K Generation Clubs once again to give their last few words to our viewers. Let's welcome K Gen.
So thank you guys for hearing us ramble and rant about what we love and like, which is K-pop. So do follow us on Instagram and also, of course, Twitter, because the K-pop community is over there. And yeah, if you're a Taylor student, do join our club. We're a friendly, sometimes very garang family when we're passionately talking about K-pop. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope we bring you happiness and a relaxed time. And I hope that you enjoy this episode by sharing all of our K-pop interests and how they influence our life. Yes, just like what Mel said, follow our socials, join our club if you are interested. We are definitely a very, very peaceful family, but peaceful in some way. You will know when you join our family. Yeah, thank you so much, Student Council, for inviting us for this episode. It was a really, really good time talking with you guys.
Thank you, Sheryl and Melissa, for joining us, because it's really nice experience to have you, and it was our pleasure also to have both of you as our speakers for the day. And we are definitely in future looking forward to more and more collaborations and discussion for our Taylorians and any opportunities that can happen in future.
Yeah, so to our listeners, do follow our Instagram page at 𝐊-𝐏𝐸𝐴𝐶 and get yourself updated on events, news, and activities happening in Taylors.
You can also find us on Facebook. Just type in Taylor's University Student Council and catch up all future podcast episodes and events. And also, make sure you comment, subscribe, and turn on post notification bell to our YouTube channel.
Okay, that's all for our podcast today. Thank you for tuning in, and we will be right back with more episodes on Keeping Up with the Taylorians. Stay safe, stay hydrated. 구독과
좋아요.
알람 설정까지.
감사합니다.
안녕.
안녕.